Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to a news edition of the Garden Report. The Celtics find their assistant coach with heavy NBA coaching experience that Brad Stevens emphasized getting for Joe Mazzulla last week amid multiple reports that Ben Sullivan and others will likely depart the bench. Sam Cassell stepping in as Joe Mazzulla's likely lead assistant next season after spending a long tenure under Doc Rivers going back to 2014 in Los Angeles, and then the 2020 through 23 seasons that Rivers spent in Philadelphia. Cassell departs that Philadelphia staff that Nick Nurse takes over. I'm sure significant changes will come there. Big ones coming here to Boston as well. Assistant with years of assistant head coaching experience, a Celtic winning the 2008 championship with this group. And a former point guard in this league who not only played alongside stars like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, also other stars across the league through numerous teams, a long career from 1993 to 2009. He has great relationship building abilities. Not only did he mentor Paul George, Ben Simmons during the time in Philadelphia, Doc Rivers also raved during this last playoff series when someone asked about Cassell as a head coaching candidate, about Cassell's presence in both offensive and defensive meetings. There's an impact on both sides of the ball that Cassell brings to the table. But beyond anything, you love the fact that he brings a defensive pedigree coming from Rivers, who is a defensive-minded coach.
About this series, but I just want to know what he's going to take for Sam to get a shot because he's been an assistant for so long, and it seems like he's really had an effect on a lot of guards, but he's not really getting that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's terrific. He's got an incredible basketball mind, and I wish people can just see the mind. I mean, he's a brilliant basketball mind. I love when we have our little meetings. We have our offensive meeting and our defensive meeting. Sam's the only one that goes to both, because he's that valuable, and it's great. I go to both, and Sam goes to both. Then we have our offensive group of coaches and our defensive group of coaches, and he deserves it.
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
Say what you want about Rivers. He did coach great defenses throughout his career with the Celtics, with the Clippers, as well as Philadelphia this past year. Great defensive unit, and the Celtics, of course, have the personnel to play great defense. So will Cassell take over that side of the ball, alleviate Mazzulla's responsibility on that end? I think that's something you'd like to see here. But of course, playmaking, mentorship as well. Whether Marcus Smart, who benefit immensely from playing under Damon Stoudemire, Derek White, finding a way to get him more aggressive and consistently involved. Not to mention the playmaking abilities of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown that I think Damon Stoudemire played a role in helping hone as well. Plenty of great benefits from having Cassell as an assistant coach here, not to mention the experience and the player's perspective that I think is always important, and that this coaching staff lacked, particularly when Stoudemire left it for Georgia Tech. This is an exciting hire, and I think a lot of people will look at it and say, ooh, if things go sideways with Mazzulla, Cassell could step into that spot. Now, I'm not thinking that far ahead, but it is worthy of consideration. They struck a great balance here, I think, by finding a coach who won't leave Mazzulla looking over his shoulder. I mean, this isn't Frank Vogel or someone with a championship head coaching pedigree. This is a career-long assistant here who, yes, does have great potential as a head coach and did, according to Jake Fisher, enter the Celtics' radar before they made the Ime Udoka hire. Obviously, it's rumored to go to a bunch of different positions as well across the league. When you think back to the success of Will Hardy, when you think back to Ime Udoka's success, even assistants who spent a long time in this league, gained great reputations. Not to mention this one having Celtics experience, being in this building and knowing what it's like to play for this team and some of the traditions they have. I know they love that, and I think the players are going to like Cassell, and I think Mazzulla will benefit immensely from adding him to the staff. Now, it's not the end of the road. Still plenty more names to come here. I'd be certain. Do other coaches potentially leave? Other staffs? Do coaches who sat on the sideline this year come back and join the fold here in Boston? We had a big question of who would come to Boston. Vogel gets hired. Numerous other assistants like Terry Stotts and James Borrego go to other benches across the NBA, and you're wondering, are the Celtics going to get left shorthanded here? Are they going to end up with an assistant who doesn't have as much experience? Well, they found one here in Sam Cassell, a super experienced assistant head coach who bridges a gap, I think, between that Doc Rivers era and this new school analytical era with Mazzulla and others across the league, the younger head coaches who are stressing some of those philosophies. Love it. Nothing much to say for now. Stay tuned for additional hires, I'm sure, coming, as well as a Garden report. We will discuss, I think, in heavy amount, the coaching staff as it starts to come together here. What these guys actually bring to the table. I know Sherrod Blakely's always great with that, from knowing most of these guys throughout his career. So we'll talk to him about that this week. Of course, we are brought to you by FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Get a no sweat bet up to $1,000. NBA Finals going on. Stanley Cup, great game one. Go check that out. Of course, you're going to get no sweat first bet if you're a first-time user. Can't beat that. And shout out to Athletic Greens. AthleticGreens.com/Garden is going to get you 75 vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more each morning. When you wake up, you just scoop it in your cup. And you get that nice tropical flavor along with the different nutrients you need. Vitamin D, your supply of vitamin D, going to come with it as well for free. 5 free travel packs for your travels this summer. Can't beat it. Love all their gear, too, that comes with it. Athletic Greens, a great long-time sponsor here on the Garden Report, and one we enjoy using very much, helping us get ready for this summer after a long season. I'm Bobby Manning. One more time, Celtics hire Sam Cassell as an assistant. I think a move that's going to have a lot of fans excited after a dark week here, and we'll be back later this week with another live edition of the Garden Report. See you then.